You're live.
We good, Hunter? You're live.
All right, outstanding. Welcome back to the 307 podcast, everyone. We have a full table today. You guys are in for a real treat today because we have a full table, and these guys right here are like in some sort of mood, like they're over the top today. So y'all just get ready for a big show.
It gets worse as time passes.
Yeah,
when them two spend time together.
But over here in the corner, we have the beautiful Miss Brooke Rite. Now, baby, I was on a speaking engagement this weekend, a dual speaking engagement in St. Louis that I'll tell you guys about later. But I can't tell you how many people asked me if you were there. Multiple people came up and asked me if you were there with me. So the people love you, boo-boo.
Thank you.
Don't forget you have to talk into that mic. When
I can't reach it.
Well, just grab it.
Thank you.
You are mobile. You can't move.
Boy, Blake being here really changes the dynamic of the table.
It really does.
It really does.
And then we've got the
For better or worse?
Better.
okay.
Good, yeah.
We have the bishop at the table for the first time ever on the 307 podcast.
This is the first time you're at the table?
Yeah, it's the first time the bishop's ever been sitting at the table. I hope he doesn't talk as much this week as he talked last week because he was really interrupting me last week a lot of times.
Word quota.
I've upped my word limit significantly. I've been doing exercises.
The old studio, it was like 15 words.
So I got some money for you to count after this, too. I got a check for you, so don't let me forget about that. I do have that gun.
Talking that mic right
but
there.
I think I'm going to keep that gun. So you can buy you another one.
Talking to that mic right there, Blake, when you...
We got the priest Cornbread over here. The priest of the East. Welcome back, Priest Cornbread. How's your shoulder doing today, man?
It's good.
It's
all right.
Well, it's a little stove up. Go ahead and tell the truth. Tell the people what's been going on with your shoulder, man.
Well, I got a shoulder impingement, and my bursa sac got infected from however I don't know.
Infected sac.
Sac. So, yeah, been dealing with some shoulder pain. Yeah. My sickness is gone. I ain't got my nausea and dizziness.
From the infection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
do you think, have you done any Googling on that or research? I mean, this impingement that you have in your shoulder, do you think it's going to require surgery?
I hope not. A lot of them can go away from physical therapy and whatnot. Some of them require surgery. There is some type of stuff like where your bones and your tendons and stuff in your shoulders like start degenerating. Like just, I hope it ain't nothing like that. But they always want you to do an MRI. And if you go do an MRI, you're going to end up doing surgery. So
look, man, cutters like to cut. That's how they make their money.
Exactly, yeah.
Cornbread is scared of doctors. Like, genuinely, like, when we thought he had West Nile, I was like, well, why don't you just go get, like, a blood test?
Nobody thought, we didn't think he had West Nile.
When I thought he had West Nile, when me and Corn both thought he had West Nile, I was like, well, just go get the blood test. And Corn was like, no, if I do that, they're going to want to do a spinal tap on me. Like they were going to force him if he found out he had West Nile. They were going to try to study him.
You said cutters like to cut. Who is that cutter that y'all know? Shurtale?
Shurdale.
Yeah.
That's dad's surgeon.
He's not a cutter.
Oh,
he
not a surgeon?
administers medicine.
Oh.
Pain medicine.
He's not a surgeon?
No, Shurdale is a pain management.
It's Shardale.
Shardale. He's a pain management.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he administers that pain medicine.
Well, getting your spinal fluid sucked out is pretty major. Like nobody would electively just say, "Oh yeah, I better go see if I need to get that done."
My point is, you were acting like if you go get the blood test and it's positive for West Nile, they're gonna freaking quarantine you and force you to get a spinal tap. That's what you were acting like.
Yeah,
quarantine.
They would want to drain get that spinal fluid to make sure
to study you.
Well, to make sure, because you can have the antibodies for West Nile in your blood. And then they'll be like, okay, now we got to get this spinal fluid to make sure. The main problem with West Nile is making sure it don't go to your brain and swell your brain.
Yeah, but you can just say no when they're like, I need
could
a
say
spinal
no
tap.
to the whole thing, and that's what I did.
Okay, fine. My bad.
Cornred, I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you, if you need surgery, just go have it done, because you ain't good to nobody if you ain't healthy, Bubba. All right?
I know. I understand that.
So
I understand that.
this is already affecting our plans for our bike ride at the end of January. I have a feeling that you're not going to be fit for duty to do that bike ride. And you know why? It's because they told you to have this MRI done how many years ago?
Look.
How many years ago did they tell you to have this MRI done?
This was your main grab to shut the bike ride down.
Yep.
I am doing the bike ride.
I've got two
Even if I have to do it by myself, I am doing the bike ride.
I've got two advocates at the table that will agree, and maybe Blake will, right? That you never planned on doing the bike ride to beginning, and
Still
now, now
Still
you're out. You're like, well, Corn's hurt, and there's no way I can force him to do this. Even if he goes to the doctor on January the 9th, they're going to say physical therapy, and he can't. But I got to do it by myself.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like.
By the way, you're on a weight loss journey. Don't go ride the bike for 5 days. That'll set you way back.
It's looking like I'm going to do this bike ride by myself, and I am not happy with that. And you know why?
I tell you what, I'll do the dang bike ride with my shoulder the way it is.
No, you won't, Bubba.
By golly, I will too.
I'll
meet you down there. I don't have to ride with you.
If you don't have doctors, if you don't have the approval of your doctor to do this bike ride, you are not allowed to do it.
Why don't we just get you one of them bikes that Grizz was going to get, where you lay back on your back and you pedal with your feet up in the air?
That would not work out very well for this bike ride we're talking about doing. There's a lot of really narrow trails.
I think you underestimate how resilient Cornred is.
Well,
I would ride in a tandem recumbent with you. Just like a
but
torpedo.
you know what I'm so ticked about this, Corn, is because they told you to get an MRI years ago, and you could have already had this whole problem fixed and finished. You could, if you needed surgery, you could have already knocked it out. You could have already did that.
Maybe.
But now, because of your procrastination, I'm having to pay the daggone penance for it.
Now,
all right?
look. You would never, Blake, had he planned on doing that bike ride?
Well, at some point, he did plan on doing it.
Yeah, and that fell away pretty bum quick. Mm-hmm. Number one,
he got out of the bike riding spirit. He's lost
and it never was, like, dates never were set in stone. They never were put in the calendar.
week
They
of
weren't
January.
put in. If something's not put in the calendar, it is likely it won't happen, or something will get scheduled over it.
Yeah, and he didn't allow nothing about it until one day Corn's like, man, this shoulder thing is pretty bugging out. And he's like, oh, whoa! Oh, whoa, Bubba! Now, on this bike ride, you ain't going to sand sack like you do on Team PT. Whoa!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you think he's sandsacked then, he hadn't even rode his bike in months. So you'll really sandsack now.
Oh, yeah. I ain't rode it since about a month and 2 weeks, maybe a month and a week.
Still refusing to ride it.
I did try a couple of days ago.
Did it bother it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hitting them bumps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
You're not going to be ready in time.
no.
No, but I ain't going to
you're
sit
not.
here and let him blame this whole dad blasted thing on me when I know that's a boatload of bull crap, and I will go ride it. I don't give a fat rat. I got another shoulder. I'll go ride it. If that's the way it's going to be, I'll ride it.
No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't finish it. The way you talk,
Sooner or later I would.
You talk like, oh, it's in a jolt like lightning from heaven through my shoulder when I hit a
You
bump.
did say that.
Yeah. Well.
It may not be that way by then.
You might be surprised.
Yeah, I could have had surgery years ago, and they could have destroyed some nerves, and my shoulder not even work at all. I could have died on the operating table.
Look at Dad.
Coulda,
after
woulda,
his
coulda.
surgery.
Exactly. Exactly.
Whatever, Cornred. I'm just telling you, you ain't good to nobody unless you're healthy. So you need to fix yourself, Bubba.
Boo, this reminds me, you telling Corn that he should have a long time ago reminds me of earlier this year when you had a blood clot and we went to Dr. Chandler and you said, well, is there anything else I can do? And he said, go on the blood thinner, but I think you should come back and get some labs done and let's just look at your like basic blood work and see if there's anything there, like if your creatinine or your inflammation's high or if there's anything we can. And did you do that?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I did. But thank you for trying to accuse
No, you
me
did
of
not.
that.
When did you? Hold on.
Because
crap, you doing that
yeah,
to your husband?
When did you? When did you go get blood work?
The vascular specialist that I saw ran the blood panel on me. He ran all the blood work.
He did the basic genetics.
No, he did more than that. I looked at the
No,
results.
shut up.
He did all kinds of stuff.
I
He
remember when you did that.
Then why did you ask me to make the appointment? Because you're having a flare up in your leg. Why did you ask me to make the appointment with Dr. Chandler today?
just because you need to go get a checkup, every couple months.
Do you see what's happening?
I know exactly
Things
what's
Okay,
change
all
every
right.
couple
As long
months,
as
you
you
need a
see
checkup.
that the pot is calling the kettle black.
No.
Yeah.
just- look.
I have the mic right now. Don't touch it.
I don't see it.
No, don't touch it.
Nick Bayer said you ought to get blood work twice a month. I seen it post something about
Twice
it. I mean,
a month.
twice a year.
Twice a year.
And
twice a month.
he said if you don't have time to go to the doctor, have the nurse come to your house and do it. And so Chad's just getting his bi-yearly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm taking
Blood
care of
checkup.
myself for y'all, obviously. Can you imagine what would happen to this operation if I wasn't able to be here? I mean, I can't even imagine. We're not even going to go down that rabbit hole.
We made big decisions this last Monday.
Your other host, for you guys who are new to the show, is Pope Chili. Pope Chili, welcome back, Bubba.
Well, to give an update on my journey through health and discovery, I have recently come down with.
Don't break down. Don't break down about it.
Don't do that.
You're not doing very good at not laughing, Bub.
Did you notice how big my hands are in that last water review?
I've always told you got ginormous fingers.
Yeah, fingers and toes. His toes are as long as his fingers are.
Yeah.
But I've also got diverticulitis. That's recent.
Well, that's been flaring up on you for years now.
That's recent.
What is that?
Flaring back
I
up.
had hyperhomogeneous extralopathy. I had type 3 diabetes. I've went through several bouts of gout.
You remember when he was coming into
Yeah,
the gym? Well, I mean, that's his wrists got messed up as a side effect from all that.
Yeah,
stuff.
now I've got.
So,
Now I have diverticulitis.
I'm sorry to hear that, Bubba.
And at the holidays, too.
Oh, I know.
Brock Lesnar had that. They had to cut some of his intestines out.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I'm well aware.
You better get shed of that, Bub. That's bad.
I feel.
They're going to tap your synovial fluid, and then I've got to get a piece of intestine cut out.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's okay.
Yeah, it ain't no big deal. They make out like the biggest sniffle on your nose is the biggest deal in the world.
You just got to keep rocking and rolling, man.
It's what I've done for years. Through it all.
And then behind the computer, the deacon has come back for week 2.
Hey, he didn't even park in our parking lot. He parked in the parking lot over yonder.
Well, you better park in ours, because if you hit somebody, it needs to be one of us.
Sir Rex-a-lot, the deacon.
Sir Rex a lot.
The deacon is back there running the switchboard with a grin on his face, son.
Rex a lot.
Happy to have you back, deacon. Good to see you, buddy. All right, guys. So, yeah, couple of announcements. Cornbread, I need another one of those 3 of 7 Project Nalgene bottles, all right?
Yes, sir.
Oh, we've got the one.
Yes, sir.
All right, I need one.
We have the
'cause
very one.
Brooke has stolen mine, and now I'm stuck with this thing. Well, actually, I know I gave it to you. I told you could use it.
That was mine.
Where did mine go? Where did the one go that I gave you?
No, this is mine. This is. Let me get the mic. This is my water bottle.
I gave it to you because you had lost all of your other water bottles.
I did want to pause proceedings for a second. I do have something. It's going to take about 1 minute, but I really need to do this. If you'll give me the time. I forgot to do this last week, but it's okay. I'll give myself a pardon. But I have to deem 2 new positions in the church. We have to make it official.
Okay.
So, Deacon Hunter, it's now official, and
Deaconess.
as now sitting at the table, Parish Brooke,
Yay! I'm not a nun.
Whoa.
official.
I'm not a nun. What does a parish do?
Not much.
Thanks.
Took you long enough to get a spot.
Well, we all know that this is a male-dominated podcast, and y'all just—I mean, look at me. You're
Pope,
trying to
thank you
run
for that
me out.
generosity,
You're
man.
welcome.
I know you didn't have to.
Congratulations, Brooke.
You didn't have to do that, but you took the time out of your blessed time to do that.
Ew.
Have you guys seen that? There's some actor on what's his name, Mark Wahlberg or something, and he's
Wahlberger.
He's a big Catholic guy, you know,
Yeah.
and I've seen him on Instagram a few times, and like every time he'd be like, "Get your faith up, get you prayed up." Then he does this, and I'm like, "What the crap, dude? What is that all about?"
Marky Mark, what?
Have y'all not seen that? He's like,
Yeah,
"Stay
I've seen
prayed up."
I've seen it.
What the crap, dude?
Does he end it with that?
Yeah, he does. Daggone Catholics, man. Oh, so yeah, I need a new Nalgene bottle. Hey, if you didn't hear, last week we announced Chili and Cornbread came up with the new Ruck training plan for you guys. It's a 15-week training plan. If you are coming out to do a rite of passage course with us here at 307 Project this year, highly recommend you go and checking out that Ruck training plan or a basic course if you're doing a basic course with us this year, or even the Proving Grounds. If you want to build your endurance and time on your feet and your strength and all that good stuff, you should check it out. It's a 15-week program. It's only $15. It's on the website now.
A week.
Yeah, $1 a week. And, yeah, it's a pretty sweet product. So go check out the Ruck training plan on 307project.com. Anything else we got this week, Blake?
Well, yeah, while you're at the website, Chili, tell them about the sale we've got going.
Oh,
A sale? When did y'all decide to do a sale?
Monday.
Hold on.
I wasn't
Let
here.
me tell you like you told me the other
No,
day.
I didn't approve this sale.
You wasn't privy to that conversation.
Something you don't know about yet, bub.
We know you've talked about weeks ago. There's exciting changes coming. You're working on all this stuff behind the scenes. Well, so are we.
Yeah, I didn't approve no sale, but
So are we. Everything in
you're
the store.
running a sale right
Yeah,
now?
it's
For
live
what?
right now.
Christmas?
Yeah, New Year blowout,
Christmas or New Year?
site-wide sale, no restocks,
Wow.
blowout, Christmas, New Year,
It's all the holidays.
January, February.
Everything on the
Boxing
website
Day.
on how much is it on sale for?
It varies by product, but every single item is on some kind of a sale.
Did you just do this out of the kindness of your heart for people in the holidays or what? Because
Yeah.
okay, well, look, next time you guys go to make decisions
Making
about
big
running
decisions.
a sale, look, y'all need to run it by me, all right? Y'all know I'm the overseer of all this, all right?
Go check out the website.
Decentralized command around here, all right?
Go check out the website. Everything's on sale.
I'm looking.
Are you serious right now, dude?
Diverticulitis.
Is he serious, CB?
Yeah.
Y'all put everything in the store
Every
on
item.
sale?
Yep.
What the crap, dude?
Every physical item is on sale. Every single one.
Away quilts.
What the crap,
Oh,
man?
yeah, hoodies are $10 off.
Are you serious, man?
Yeah, see, look. Parish is doing work.
Oh, wow.
Unauthorized work,
How
but
much
she's
is them
doing work.
shirts?
Shirts are only $19.
Most are $19. Some
Whoa,
some are
14.
Summer
There's a
is
shirt that's half
Hold
off.
up now.
Half off.
summer
It's
as low as 15,
off.
summer 19, summer 25. We got hats for
Look,
25.
what, we trying to go out of business around here or what?
Store closing sale.
What the crap, man?
That's what it is.
There's some shirts in here that are 50% off.
Yeah, some of them.
Y'all see what happens when I leave? Look, I've been gone for 6 days, and y'all see what happens around here.
Yeah, we show some love to our
all of a sudden the business
constituents.
becomes unprofitable in 6 days. We're now officially unprofitable.
That's not true.
So,
Look at this.
well, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, if y'all want to take advantage of that sale, you better go and do it now, because I have a feeling when this podcast gets over, I'm gonna put the quietus on that sale.
We planned on running it through a long time.
We run it long time.
Well,
I'm gonna go ahead and tell you that sale ain't gonna be around long.
it wasn't going out in December, I'll tell you that.
If y'all wanted to run that sale for very long, you shouldn't have mentioned it right here in front of me.
We're gonna run that
I'm
sale.
gonna put the squash on that.
You're probably not. You're gonna drag your feet, and it'll be on sale in March.
He'll forget about it by the time that coffee's
Look,
gone.
if he threatens anything, just tell him we'll cancel this sale if you'll fill out this form here.
Yeah.
And slide him that form, and nothing will ever get done.
I want to give a shout out to I want to give a shout out to my good friend Chad Robichaux.
Yeah.
And if you guys haven't heard or went and looked at Chad's new podcast, Chad Robichaux, his new podcast, new-ish podcast called The Resilient Show, I would encourage you to go and check it out. The Resilient Show. It's on YouTube and on all your, audio platforms. Chad's just doing a really great job finding guests, interesting guests, and having good, long-form, meaningful conversations. So I highly recommend checking that out. The episode that I did with Chad just came out a few days ago. And thank you for all you guys who have listened. And hopefully you got something out of it. CB, you listened to that episode, didn't you?
I did.
You told me you enjoyed it this morning.
Did, man.
Yeah.
You did awesome on it.
I'm just wondering how you guys listen to podcasts that I do on top of all the talking you already hear me do. It's pretty remarkable. Brooke was listening to that
Was she?
episode the other day.
Mom listened to it.
I cannot listen to a podcast of myself. But I guess I could if you guys went on a podcast, I could listen to it. So I guess I get it.
Yeah, you're my buddy.
Corn
man.
went
I
on
guess
one
I
the
get
other day, didn't you?
Yeah.
What, maybe a month or two back? That
Yeah.
construction one?
it. Yeah. Dirty and Driven. I don't think they've released it yet. I don't think so.
They might not.
That in the pocket.
Yeah.
Cornbread needs
They're big fans of the show.
Cornbread needs to be on more podcasts,
Yeah, it does.
So check out the Resilient Show, guys, and go listen to that episode that I did with Chad. I think you guys will enjoy it, and hopefully it'll challenge you, and maybe you'll kind of understand me a little bit better and kind of the stuff that I've been through in life that, I haven't necessarily shared to that level in the past. So thank you, Chad, for the opportunity. You guys go check it out. I've been gone for 6 days. The strike force went out solo.
Thought you were on vacation.
No. I had to drive to St. Louis. Had a 2-day speaking engagement. That was good. Everybody was wondering why Brooke wasn't there. I think everybody just was there to meet Brooke.
I tried to go on that speaking engagement, and you didn't want me to.
I know.
Okay. I'm just making
Got
sure.
to go by First Form HQ, do some filming with them. Made a good video. It's always fun to be at First Form HQ. That's a cool place to be, an inspiring place to be. You guys know First Form is one of our partners here at 307 Project. And then the reason why I had to go solo is because I then left St. Louis and drove down to West Monroe, Louisiana, to do some duck hunting and to fellowship with the Duck Commander crew, the Duck Dynasty crew. And I want to tell you guys right now, a lot of you guys know who the Duck Dynasty crew is, obviously from the show Duck Dynasty. That was, aired some years ago. Very successful show. And they build their duck calls. What are their duck calls are Duck Commander, right?
Yeah.
That's the duck call business.
Right.
And so a lot of famous people, you see them on TV, you see them, you might hear them on a podcast or whatever. These guys have a podcast, the Unashamed podcast. And, you might see these people and listen to them. And maybe you wonder, are these people legit? Like not that they're lying about anything, but like, are they really like that into duck hunting, or that into their faith? Or is that really the way they live their lives? And I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, the Duck Commander crew is legit, son. These people are legit. From their duck hunting to their faith, they are living it, man. And I got to spend 3 days down there with these guys and their family. I stayed with one of their family members named Jay Stone. Had you ever heard of Jay before?
I had
Jay
not.
Stone. He hangs a lot with Cy. Jay actually led the duck call manufacturing portion of their business when the Duck Dynasty show was really in full swing, right? Jay Stone was an awesome dude. Cooked the most amazing whitetail deer backstrap that I've ever put in my mouth, son. Everything he cooked was good. But he brought me in, let me stay at his house, and got up. He took me deer hunting the first morning. Unbelievable deer hunt. Jay we get on this side-by-side, and Jay has this feeder on the front of this side-by-side. It's hooked to a little switch, a little switch in the inside. And we take off in there, and we're going down the path, and he turns that corn feeder on, and it starts slinging corn out, And we just ride that side-by-side on up to a box stand, park it right there, climb up in the box stand. And Jay said, they'll be out here in about 5 minutes. Don't worry. I thought, give me a break, man. We just rode a dang side-by-side down the road, The deer ain't going to be out here in 5 minutes. I'm talking about at 5 minutes, there was about 20 deer standing in that road.
Dang.
I mean, it 5 minutes, they started just piling out into this darn road in droves. It was a good hunt. We didn't kill nothing. We just sat up there and watched him,
Right.
Had a good hunt, but yeah, he's really managing the property that they have down there for the deer portion of it. He knows every buck, He's got them named. He's got them on camera, He calculates, he's on that thing you believe in, you got to kill so many does, and
he's got sense about himself.
they calculate it, we need to kill 30 does this year, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he rarely even kills a deer. What he has done is he wanted to create a place where he could get kids hooked on hunting. And that's what he's doing. I mean, he lets kids come out, that friends that he has and knows that have kids, he lets them come out there and, kill their first deer, And that's what he's created. He's created a place where you could bring a kid and you're going to see deer from the time you sit down to the time you get up and leave. We had to run these deer off. When we got ready to get out of the stand, we had to run them off.
Dang.
They wouldn't get out of that road. So that was awesome. We all, later on that evening, Jay cooked a big old meal. All the family came over. We had a big dinner, and the next morning we got up and went duck hunting. Now, I'm not a duck hunter, so, I'm no judge of duck hunting. But I'm going to go ahead and tell you, when you see someone who is an expert at whatever it is they do, you instantly realize this person is an expert. And so we get up to go duck hunting the next morning, and if you're on Patreon, I've got a bunch of cool content from that duck hunt that I'm going to share with you guys. And Jace was leading the duck hunt, Jace Robertson, and Jay was like his right-hand man, And so we get out, drive down to this little boat dock, hop on a aluminum boat. There was a whole pile of us, son. Take off through all that flooded timber, and get out there to the duck blind, and I'm just watching Jace Robertson. And as the sun comes up, I realize I am in the presence of an expert duck hunter. The way this guy was just watching the sky, I've never seen anything like it. Like, he's standing up in the blind, and his eyes are just constantly darting in all directions. And he can he sees these ducks from long ways off, knows what they are, what kind of duck they are. He knows what direction they're headed. If they're going this way, they're not going to come in. If they're coming from this way, you better get ready because they're coming in. He knows where they're flying to. This dude was truly an expert at duck hunting. And it was just so cool to get to see him in his element and that he would share that with us, I mean, because we're just a bunch of old jacklegs, dude. I mean, I straight up told Jace, I was like, hey, man, you can't count me as a man in this blind. I can't hit these ducks for nothing. I can't hit them. He don't miss. He throwed up and shot a duck at 90 yards and folded it up. He said he was leading it by about 7 feet. I had a couple of ducks fly right over top of me, and I shot my gun till it was empty, and I didn't hit a feather. I mean, I can't hit them.
Yeah.
But, man, anytime you get to go and see an expert do their thing, it's inspiring. It really is. So I didn't kill any ducks. They killed some ducks. And then later that night, we went and did jiu-jitsu. Now,
Bet that went well.
so we had how I got roped into this trip was through my buddy Chad Robichaux. Chad is a native Louisiana in, and so he knows he's been hunting and knows the Robertsons well.
I hope you didn't roll with him.
Oh, I did. I did. Chad is a 5th degree black belt in jiu-jitsu. He's been doing it for, I think, 45 years. And he put on a seminar at the local jiu-jitsu gym there in West Monroe, Louisiana. And so now, for a second time on this trip, I got to see a true expert practice and teach their craft. And I don't know. Do y'all know what I'm talking about? Do y'all understand how cool that is? When you see the dude who is like the best in the world at the thing that he's passionate about, teach that and actually practice that.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's just nothing else like it, man. Yeah. And so Chad did his seminar, and I participated, but it was a joke. I mean, I'm a joke. I mean, you roll with a guy like Chad, right? A guy like me is Chad's like being friendly with me. He's like, hey, let's do some jiu-jitsu together. I'm like, all right, let's do it. And the whole time you're rolling with this guy, you're just wondering what's going through his head. Like, obviously.
Oh, wow.
Like,
Could have got him there. Could have got him there.
Sad sack.
Yeah, obviously this dude could choke me out and kill me like every second, like 500 different ways. But he's just letting me flounder and like, pull on him and tug on him and this and that, and the whole time you're just like, oh, this is a joke because I know this dude could destroy me at any minute.
Right.
Well, when Corn's shoulder gets good, we all need to go take jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
I couldn't get into it.
When your shoulder's good.
I
We got to wait till then.
I couldn't get into jiu-jitsu, man. I woke up the next morning. My dang neck was jacked up. I couldn't even turn my head. My whole chest hurt. Like my ribs, my dang shit, like everything. Look, I got a big bruise on my shoulder right there. I could not get into jiu-jitsu. No, that's no.
Well, you did it in the midst of your weight loss journey.
Yeah, it's true.
No, I couldn't.
You got too much for them to pull and tug on right now, Boo. You gotta get rid of that extra flab first.
The crazy thing about Chad is...
Are we gonna do this today where every time I say something you just ignore me? Because if we
that
are...
comment didn't warrant a response.
If we are, can you just tell me now? That way I can know it going forward.
Look at his stomach on that Patreon video I just posted
When was it from?
this morning.
This morning, I showed it to you, the one with my vest on. I was working out with my vest
He
on.
was poking his stomach out on purpose while he was
What
talking.
were you saying, though? You were just...
So the crazy thing about Chad, obviously we talk about being in shape, and you look on Instagram and you see these people that are all like big and muscle and all this stuff. Now Chad Chad's in shape, like but he's not bulky, right? And he's only like, sorry Chad if I get this wrong, but he's only like 5 feet tall.
I think he's probably more than 5 feet tall.
more than 5 feet.
He's really short. I'm the only one that makes fun of him for being short. I realize that. Nobody else makes fun of him for being short. I think
he didn't choke you out.
I think they're scared of him. But that's what's crazy about this dude is he's small, right? But I mean, there's maybe like 10 people in the world that could beat him. Like this dude could just destroy you. Everyone, like everyone he sees, like they don't even stand a chance against him. I mean, it's remarkable. It was cool. I couldn't get into jiu-jitsu, but I could get into the duck hunting.
Right.
I could get into that, man.
You have to live somewhere like they live, though. We ain't got that kind of duck hunting around here.
No, it'd be a waste of time around here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this place that we were hunting cornbread, like, there were wood ducks flying everywhere. They were just everywhere, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never even seen a wood duck around here.
Yeah, we got wood ducks, resident wood ducks. Yeah, I've hunted places where there's a lot of wood ducks, but like they regularly get, because they're down there in the Delta and all that, like they get the ducks regularly that we don't get.
What type of duck
and the numbers
is most desirable to hunt?
Mallard.
Mallard.
They wanted the mallard.
That's what they wanted.
Greenheads.
They didn't want them wood ducks.
I mean, I think they liked hunting the wood ducks, but the wood ducks would come over in like groups of 10 or 20. But them mallards, they fly in big old clumps. We saw two.
We got a clump of ducks coming in.
We saw 2 flights of mallards. And them guys would see them, and they were way off, way long ways off, and they would just start wailing on them duck calls, man. I'm talking about so loud you almost had to plug your dang ears.
Right.
Is it not
trying to reach out to
so
them?
it's
and get them to
multiple
come
people
in.
calling?
Yeah, for when we were there, we had Jace, Jay, and then another Chad. We had 3 Chads in the blind.
Golly.
3 Chads in the blind.
Clump of them.
Clump of Chads.
We did. We had a clump of Chads.
He spelled his with 3 D's.
But then the mallards, they call them the big ducks, because the wood ducks are smaller, and the teal are smaller, which they come in early. But the big ducks, they won't come down until it gets so cold up north that it freezes all the water. And then as the water freezes, they just kind of follow that temperature further and further south. So all of the big ducks are still up in Arkansas and Illinois and places like that. So they weren't in there yet. But yeah, man. And then we got to do the Unashamed podcast, which was so cool for me because I'm a big fan of the Unashamed podcast. I've listened to it for years and years, and it was just kind of surreal to be in there and to be a part of that show. I mean, it really was. And I don't get that feeling a lot. I go on all kinds of podcasts, but that's one that I have really been a fan of, And so it was just surreal to be in there, to be on the show after I've listened to it now for so many years. I mean, that was a really cool trip.
That's awesome, man.
That was a really cool trip. It really was. And I could get into the duck hunt.
I'm bummed that you didn't get to meet Phil, but I know he's sick. So that was when I heard you were going, that was what I was most excited about. Because I feel like you've been talking about him and his testimony pretty much since you got saved.
Yeah, Phil is he has been used by the Lord in mighty ways for sure. Yeah, he has, and I wasn't bummed that I didn't get to meet Phil, because like. The rest of the guys, they're all the real deal. You know what I mean? It's like it wasn't like, well, Phil's the only one.
Yeah.
It's like all of them. They're all just really awesome people. You know what I mean? So yeah, they said Phil's not doing very well. They said they think that his hunting is pretty much done. Mm-hmm. But they also said that there will never be another man who is that passionate about duck hunting. They said that about Phil. They were like even Jason and Jay, these guys who are the experts, and you can tell, man, they're eat up with it, They even said no, Phil was on a whole nother level. He's on a whole nother level, man. They said in duck season, they said Phil would hunt every single day, whether the ducks were there or not. And he said sometimes Phil would stay in the blind all day long, whether the ducks were there or not. They said he called it riding the hole.
Riding the hole?
Riding the hole, yep. Sitting on that duck hole all day long. But they said they won't never be. He was the first man to ever try to film a duck hunt.
Right, yeah.
I mean, he was basically 2 decades ahead of everything with the content that he was creating and the branding with the beards and the sunglasses and, just the personalities. He was 2 decades ahead of everybody else. And can you imagine trying to create video back then for VHS?
Yeah, I'm sure it was tough.
Yeah.
How do you even do that?
I have no idea how they edited stuff. I mean, there were no computers when they started. I don't know how they were editing and stuff.
Yeah, I ain't got a clue.
Well, you start and stop it.
There is no editing. You just roll it again if you mess up.
I don't know the story, but it really would be interesting to learn because the more you think about that, and you've talked about the VHS tapes and all that, I mean, how did he know how to do all that, or did he just provide the content for it and give it off to somebody else to make the tape? I mean,
he had a videographer.
I mean, but it is wild. Like you'd like to ask him, what made you think of all that so ahead of everybody else? Like why? I mean, because I don't know if that's true, but he probably is literally the first to do that.
He's the first.
So why did he do it? I mean, I'd want to know
hunts.
why he did it.
And the crazy thing is he didn't just film duck hunts. I was telling y'all earlier, he was so adamant about it being perfect. Jace was saying it would take them 2 years just to get enough content to create 1 hour long video because Phil was so adamant about everything being perfect on brand too. You know, he said when these ducks would come in, they would kill a whole wad of ducks.
Clump.
Every one of them. He said they'd kill every one of them that came in. And then Phil wouldn't let anybody smile or nothing. He told them, act like you've been here before. So they'd kill this whole wad of ducks, and everybody would be wanting to hoop and holler and high-five, and because that's a big thing when you kill the whole clump, and none of them get away, right?
Right.
But Phil would just make them just sit back down in their seat like nothing even happened. You know, spit tobacco. You know? I thought, man, that's legit. He was creating a brand.
Yeah.
He was creating a brand, a personal brand, before anybody knew or even understood that.
Yeah. Yeah, all the way to like a catchphrase. When the ducks would come in, he'd look up and say, "Cut 'em, boys."
Yep.
And they'd all just stand. That's pretty bad. Cut 'em, boys.
Have you seen any of the old Duckmen?
Oh, yeah.
I get it. So those are my favorite.
Right.
Me and Brooke watched a little bit of the Duck Dynasty show last night. I can't get into it. I just can't get into the Duck Dynasty show. It's
Right.
just kind of silly. You know what I mean?
All those shows after the first year, they got to figure out other stuff to do. So then they get silly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the old Duckman videos, you can go on YouTube and find them on there, and they're good, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, those are good videos. I mean, if you ain't never been duck hunting in your life, you go watch one of them old Duckman videos, and you gonna want to go duck hunt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Guarantee you.
You are, really.
I'm not kidding you, man. That's how good they were. So these guys are freaking legends, man. Legends. That was cool.
That's pretty cool.
That was cool, you know. I don't like to leave the house, you know. Before I went on this trip,
Oh, you were sulking.
which it was a long trip because I had 3 days of speaking before I went down there.
How you figure?
First one, 2 days.
Well, yeah, but it was 3 total days. It was Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I didn't meet up with them until Sunday.
Basically, you did a podcast here, then you went out of town and got back in town, and now you're doing another podcast.
Oh,
yeah,
it was
that's
saying
true.
second.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, you putting in the work.
Before I left, yeah, that's what Cornbread looked at me and he said, "Do you just not like to go anywhere?" And I said, "Yeah, that's right. I don't. I don't. I mean, you could tell me I was going to Hawaii or whatever, right?
Meet Donald Trump.
To meet Donald Trump, whatever. I'm not gonna be excited about it, man. But turns out it was a real blessing to get to meet that family and to get to meet those guys. It was a real blessing.
That's awesome.
And you know what? The speaking engagements were a blessing too.
Yeah.
You know, I've never seen a company of that size. On Friday night, we had about a room of about 600.
Dang.
And it was a company Christmas party for a couple construction companies, right? And the owner, Jason, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Jason. He said, when I started these businesses, he said our first Christmas party was 6 people. And now he had 600 this year. And he said, but when I started this business, you know, I committed to always keeping the Lord at the front and center. Like overtly open about faith and about the gospel. And I had never seen a company of that size. Jason told us, basically, I don't want to hire you to come and speak unless you are going to give a clear picture of the gospel. That's what I'm looking for. He said that he didn't want me to come and speak about teamwork or leadership or mental toughness. He didn't want none of that. He just said, I want you to come here and share your testimony and give a clear presentation of the gospel. That's all I'm looking for. this was not a church event. This was a construction company Christmas party. And I thought, this is weird.
Yeah.
I never seen nothing like it. I mean, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, if you want me to come and speak, it's not cheap. And that's all he wanted, man. That's literally all he wanted. Oh man. That's inspiring. This guy is at this level and he is unashamed, like overtly presenting the gospel to his employees at this level. That was inspiring. It really was. And so the whole thing just turned out to be a big blessing, and I'm glad I went. I'm glad I had the opportunity to go, and I shouldn't be so dang poopy about having to go. You know, I shouldn't be so poopy about that.
I think that's cool that fella like openly shares his faith, because I think a lot of people we've talked to that own businesses really shy away from letting their faith meld into their business.
Yeah.
And like, I understand when people talk about that, like you probably are going to lose contracts and people aren't going to like you and but I feel like that guy's just trusting that the Lord's going to take care of him in that. And obviously he is, but that's such a big no-no right now, is to put your faith up front in your business, especially when you get to that size. I mean, I think you can get into legal trouble at this point if you do that.
I mean, it does present a whole myriad of issues, or it could potentially. But
it's cool.
So he told me he's up front with everybody that comes in, like all of his people that he hires. He's like up front with them, like, hey, our faith is going to be overtly discussed, and it's going to be out front, and like, I just want to be up front with you so that you're not surprised when you come to work for this company, and that's a part of our culture.
Yeah.
And if that offends you, or you know, you don't like that, this probably isn't the place for you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So that was cool. And he also told me, I think another thing is another thing to overcome is he knew that maybe even up to half the room weren't Christian. Like, he knew that about his people, but he wanted me to do this anyways. And he told me up front, he was like, dude, you're going to be presenting the gospel. And he said, you're going to see people that are just on their phones and, you know, like, all right, freaking get this over with so that we can, you know, play spin the wheel and win these Christmas prizes, you know?
Well, yeah, if it was just a solid fact that he had 600 people there that were all Christians, he probably wouldn't have hired you to speak. I mean, he probably hired you because he knew most of the people there, or half, or however many weren't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't see why he would be so adamant about hiring you if, not that he wouldn't, or that you still don't need to hear, but like, it was probably more pressing because half of them weren't. And like you said, he probably knew that most people wouldn't listen, but
maybe maybe it would be what someone
needed to hear.
Even one needed to hear, you know. It made me also think too, like it impressed me in the sense of he also wasn't interested in trying or in asking me to leverage my testimony to convince anyone of anything.
Yeah.
Like, he was just like, I'm just presenting the gospel to honor God. And I loved that, because so often as Christians, I think we find ourselves in the position, especially amongst unbelievers, that we think it's our responsibility to convince people to believe in Jesus. And I don't think that can be done. I don't think that I can convince you to believe in the gospel, that Jesus died. He lived a perfect life, was born of a virgin, died, was buried, and was resurrected and ascended into heaven. I think that all of you guys should maybe consider that. Like, when you share the gospel, it's not for the sake of convincing anyone to believe any certain way. You are sharing the gospel. We are sharing the gospel because I believe, and you should also believe, that the power is in the gospel, in and of itself, right? The power is not in the presentation. The power is not in the clever way that you word things. The power isn't in the intriguing nature of your testimony. That this gospel is just this standalone message that there is power in and of itself, right? It can be presented by you, me. You don't have to be the best spoken. You don't have to use fancy words. You don't have to yell. Just present the gospel, man. And it will do what needs to be done.
I think I need to hear that, because I get really uncomfortable if I'm in a situation where I feel the tug to talk about Jesus because of all the things you just said. I feel like I'm not qualified. You know what I mean? Like, I spend so much time with you and Blake especially, and I'm like, oh, I just underestimate. But I like what you're saying. It really does take you off the hook. Like, their response to what you're telling them is not necessarily a reflection of whether you did a good job or not. It's just, we're just called to do it, right? Like,
yeah, you summed that up well, for sure. Yeah,
thank you, babe.
It does. It does take the pressure that we put on ourselves off of ourselves.
I think too that would change for me, like, who I would choose to share the gospel with. Because I think I'm very hesitant to share it with people that I'm like, oh, there's no way that, like, they're going to receive this, you know. But if we're off the hook in that way, it's like, tell anybody about it. Who cares, you know?
You're on to something there, boo-boo.
The key to...
She is. I mean, the best picture of it is the picture of scattering seed. That's the best picture of it. You know, the seed in and of itself has the ability to grow if it falls on the proper soil and it receives the proper nutrients and water and this and that. But there's nothing that you can put. You're not making that seed grow. All the power for that seed to grow is locked inside the seed.
You hit the nail on the head with that one.
The theme that sticks out to me of all that we've talked about today is just people being themselves, like true, genuine of themselves. You say, well, how did Phil have the ability to know to do these things? That's just who he was. Like, he was just that he was just that duck hunter, right? And he thought, it'd be cool to film this. It wasn't because he wanted to be someone who was a content creator or an influencer. And you have all these people nowadays that see that and they think, oh, that's cool. I have access to Instagram. I have access to YouTube, so I can do those things. Well, you really can't. I mean, you just have to be who you are. And then you move on down the line to Jason, who's like, hey, this is just who I am. And I'm going to be this in my business, whether it's good or bad. And that's how Chad is. That's how we try to be. We have lost speaking engagements because I've told people this is our message, and it may not be a sermon, but that's part of our story and that's who we're going to be. And they'll say, well, that's not what we want. And that's okay. Like, we don't want to be somewhere that we can't be ourselves. And it's the same thing with sharing the gospel. Like, you share the gospel because you're commanded to, not because of any result it will yield, not because you think you can do it in this clever way. Even the Apostle Paul says, I come to you and share this gospel, not with fancy words or no kind of big presentation so that you can't give me any credit. So I just presented as bare bones as I can, and the effect that it yields on you, you realize it's the power of the gospel and not the cleverness of man. And so I think that's what we should focus on, is being ourselves, and stop thinking, what is this person going to think? What is that person going to think? I think that would be cool to be that. I don't really think I'd be good at it, but I want to try it. Well, people tell you can go be anything, and maybe to a degree you can, but really you can be anything that you're called to be, that you want to do. If you want to do it, yeah, you can probably be really good at it. But too many people try to be things they're not.
Yeah, and you can't become like legendary like these guys that I got to hang out with this weekend, like Chad or the Robertsons. You can't become legendary like that if you're just trying to act like it. You can't be. You know? That's another thing I thought about. Like, these guys, the world sees them as legends in within their space, and they are legitimately legends. And the way that they became legends is just by being themselves and doing what they're passionate about.
They didn't care about being legends. They was just going to do their thing. They was just going to do their thing.
The hard part in all this is that you can't really pick what you're going to be passionate about. That's the hard part about it, man, because I was telling Brooke this last night. After being around them, like when you're around that type of passion, when you're around that, it makes you want something in your life that you're that passionate about. I mean, it makes you want it. And so for a long time, obviously, I think my faith is the primary passion in my life. You know what I mean? But I think we desire to have something that's kind of a conduit for that. Like for them, it's duck hunting. For me, in the past, it's been running. You know, running has kind of been the conduit for us to build a platform off of, to share with, to kind of. It's what we did in our free time, right? I mean, and I was really passionate about running for a long time, like really passionate about it. But for this year, I haven't had that. Like I haven't had this, and that's all part of the process, by the way, I believe. But I told Brooke last night, I said, you know, I really miss that, man, and I miss it more after being around them. And I just said, you know, I'm excited to see what the Lord leads me into next. Because you can't pick what you're going to be passionate about. But that's immediately what you want to do. Like, I'm thinking when I leave these guys' house, I'm like, man, you know what? Maybe I'll get me another couple of coon dogs, you know? Or maybe I'm going to start running again, you know? Or, maybe I need to start deer hunting more. Like, you want to pick something.
Right.
That you can just, that just fills you up, you know what I mean? But I think it's impossible. It's impossible. I mean,
yeah, you begin to seek the thing that is truly, as maybe cliche as it sounds, but the thing that you're passionate about, if it's God, then those other things will just become. Like those things will just come along with life. But when you begin to seek those things, like what is it that I can be passionate? I'm going to be the best deer hunter I can be. Well, then what falls by the wayside? Everybody and everything else except deer hunting.
Things fall by the wayside, and by the way, you will never be truly passionate about deer hunting.
Yeah, it's just fake.
Like it's fake. Yeah, it's fake. That's exactly right. You might look really successful, but it won't be something that's lasting.
Yeah, and it won't be and it won't be fulfilling, and that's why it won't be lasting, because eventually that will wear off. The fake passion will wear off, and then you're gonna say, this kind of sucks, really. And you find something else. But yeah, I think that is part of the process, going through that, at least getting deep into something and thinking, I really do like this. And then you realize, well, not really. Like you could think something's your passion and get real deep into it. Maybe even running, and then you say, nah.
Well, to be honest with you, for me personally, I think that the Lord chose, Lord didn't have to do anything. I think that the Lord chose to cut those other things like out of my life so that I could come to the realization that my salvation and his word is truly the foundational passion of my life. Yeah. I've been thinking a lot. Dude, I'm a thinker, man. Like, I came in this morning, and so I'm thinking about this stuff. I'm learning stuff. You learn stuff when you go out and you're around people like this. You really do. I mean, you learn things from them. You're inspired by them. And, like, I came in this morning, and I told these guys, like, hey, I want to start a intentional segment, Bible study segment on the 307 podcast every Monday. And, you know, I tell these guys this out of nowhere, but just understand that's not something that I just up and decided I wanted to do out of nowhere. That's coming from this realization as I think through these things that, like, man, this year I haven't really had anything I'm passionate about, but that's not true. Like, this is my passion, like my faith in this gift of salvation and Scripture, and this is my passion. Like, but I don't think you ever realize that when it's that and running, or when it's that and hunting, or you don't ever realize that. Like, all that crap's got to be cut away at some point, and you realize, no, this is the everlasting passion that is fulfilling me, and that you always have a purpose and a mission and a calling to, you know?
That, I feel like that finding your passion is one of the, like, fits into the current cultural thing. Like, it's one of those boxes that, like, if they say to live your best life, and then it lists like 12 things that you have to do to, like, be happy and successful, and it's like, make sure you're finding what you're passionate about. And I like what you're saying, Boo, is like, I think there is something, and while you were talking, I was trying to think, like, what seems so appealing about watching the Duck Dynasty guys with a singular passion of duck hunting? Like, why is that look so great? And I think for me, it would be the simplicity of it. Like, there's no decisions. There's no, like, what do I do today? What do I spend my money on? What do I spend my time? It's like, oh, no, that's my thing.
Yeah.
But, like, what you're talking about with you, like, everybody who listens to this podcast knows, like, I went through a really rough spell earlier this year. And, man, you were so passionate about loving me and supporting me. Like, the passion was at a level 11 during that time. And your passion for the Lord during that time was wild. Like, it was, I mean, I don't know, did you guys feel that? Like, just the energy. And I think, like, your passion that you're intentionally putting towards doing the Yukon race with David because you love him and you want to support him. I don't know. I just don't think it has to look like this one hobby that you have that, like, fulfills you completely and you just do it the rest of your life. Like, you are ebbing and flowing in these passions, and you're serving others, and then you're doing something for yourself, and then you're choosing to, I don't know. I think the having one passion that just clicks for you, and then the rest of your life you're able to stick with it, sounds nice. And that's what our culture says you should probably do. But is that likely for most people? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
well, the common denominator in everything you just explained, like with his passion being so high during what you was going through, the love for you, the love for David. Yeah. Those Duck Dynasty guys are all doing that as a family. They're doing it out of love to begin with. I think that's the common denominator in the whole thing. Like, true, actual love is causing the passion of something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, do you think that the passion, like duck hunting or whatever, well, it does this, but I don't know if it's the main purpose, but it really connects you to people that aren't passionate about Christ? Because if you're just passionate about Christ, he can, like, obviously he still uses you to reach them, but could that be a way, like through duck hunting, that those people, you know, God connects them with other people through duck hunting or through deer hunting or through running? Not that he has to have that, but maybe that's his plan, right? The person standing out preaching on the corner is going to reach a different person than the duck hunter, than the runner, than the gardener, than the whoever.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's almost like, you know, the verse about the salt. If you got too much salt, then ruins all the food. It basically loses its flavor. And so maybe that's the seasoning that. Who knows? I don't know.
I think this is such a important lesson for me, though, personally, because realizing how well I have this thing, I've been gifted this faith that can be and is my enduring passion and mission in life. It's important for me to realize that is the foundational calling that has been placed upon my life. And it's not running, and it's not hunting, and it's not any of this other stuff, because it's important for me to realize this, because I have reached a point in my life that I have everything that I want. I've said that on the podcast before. I've done everything that I want to do. I've done, like, the stuff that I've already done in terms of, like, carnal things, like, I can't top it. Like, I'm getting older, I can't top the physical, the stuff I've already done, and so I don't need anything else. It's hard to look forward in life and aspire to do things when they're not really going to top what you've already done. And so, and then also you have all your needs are met, like just above and beyond. And so what people don't realize is, that's what everybody like wants to get to that point in life. I get that. Like, and most people never get to that point. But when you get there, you really start thinking, well, dang, I need a reason to keep living. Like, you need a reason to keep living when you have everything that you've achieved everything and you have everything. You know what I mean? You just have to have that, and you begin thinking like, well, what the crap what's gonna be the driving thing for me? You know what I mean? And I don't know, maybe that doesn't resonate with a lot of people out there, but that's my own personal experience. So,
well, there are a lot of people probably listening to this that are like thinking, well, why do I need to find my passion? Like, here I am, I work all dang day, I got a family, I don't have time for like, I don't have nothing. But the reason for it is for other people, because, like, I mean, just even you guys, when y'all, like, if Chad's off and he's not passionate about, like, I'm a better person because when I'm around him or you or Cornbread, and when you guys are off your game, then I'm not as good of a person because the fact y'all aren't making me. So the reason that you have to do these things is for everybody else. I mean, it's for everybody else.
It does lift everybody up. I mean, that's the whole thing. I mean, I think that's what I've been describing about being around those guys this weekend. It just lifts everybody up.
The way you live your life matters to everybody else, and everybody, not everybody, a lot of other people are watching you, and they're picking up on things, and they say, oh, well, right or wrong, they say, well, Chad acted like this wasn't that big a deal, so I don't think it's really that big a deal either. And you can say, well, that's their fault. They need to search it out and find what's right for their own, but you're also being a stumbling block for somebody else. And so I think that's the main reason we have to be passionate about, I mean, for me, is the gospel, is Christ, right?
I'm surprised Chili doesn't have more to say about this, because his overwhelming passion for so long was running, and then he lost that.
Yeah.
And I know this has got to be resonating with you on some level.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really know much to say.
Yeah.
I mean, that's I don't really understand what you're talking about with deciding what your passion is.
I'm saying you can't decide.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really got to be revealed to you, And I'm saying that the fact that my faith is my passion. Yeah. I'm saying that wasn't something that I chose, that has has been and is being revealed to me.
I mean, maybe people try to pick what their passion would be, but they'll find out that they can't.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I agree.
Running, that was never a decision.
Yeah.
And I never sat down and was like, gosh, I just want to love running.
Same here. Yeah.
It's just what I did. I mean, I even found myself when I was kind of losing it, wishing that I did want it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if I could have forced it, I would have as I was losing it. Like I was like, man, I just don't anymore. But I wish I did. But so even wanting to want to run, I lost it. So, I don't know. But then even now, I find myself wanting. I don't know, not that same type of thing, but like sometimes I get like I'll see something will remind me of a moment, that I had or a race or something, and like I get antsy about it, but I don't know what that's telling me. I mean, but I have done that for a while too. I mean, I think anytime you spent a solid, 3 to 5 years, whatever you would say. I mean, I ran my whole life, but where I was really passionate about it, 5 years or something, that sticks with you forever. I mean, like I'll never forget that or never lose that, or that'll always be a part of my life. But maybe it's just that. I mean, I spent a long time trying to get back into it. Like trying to do it, and then
because you want it, man.
Yeah, but that.
Life is it's like Brooke said, the simplicity that comes with that.
Yeah.
Like what are you gonna do today?
Yeah.
You're gonna freaking go run today.
Yeah.
Like I get that
for
too.
Hours.
Yeah, that the simplicity that comes with that.
Yeah. But then every time I tried to get back into it, it was like I would look back at what I had just done, and I was like, well, I'm trying to. It's almost like if I felt like a dog returning to his vomit. I felt like that. I felt like, well, I've seemingly learned this lesson that I was worshiping this, and then when I try to run again, I literally feel like I'm returning to vomit. And then it would be like, okay, not good, and then let it go, whatever, and then time would go on, and I would do it again. And I feel myself sitting here today like I could do that again.
Well, when
you
lose,
like a part of me gets antsy about it and like, man, maybe I could run again. But like, I've remembered the 14 times before or 54 times before that I've done the same thing. It's like it feels like I'm just trying to return to worshiping the false idol.
Well, that's what the disciples did, right? They were fishermen.
Yeah.
And then their passion became Jesus. And what happened when he
tried to fish.
When he died? What did they? When they thought he was gone, they went back to the boats, right?
Yeah.
Back to the thing that was last. And so, we're no different.
Yeah, I don't know, but in all these discussions, it's like I don't know at what point it would be me, trying to run again. Because everybody tries to get me to. Everybody that doesn't know me, it's like, well, why don't you run again? Like, well, you should. Like, oh, you were really good, or you really loved it, or you were that. It doesn't even matter if I was good or not. I wasn't. It doesn't even matter if I loved it or not. I did and I didn't. It just, that's what they connected me to. So they think that's what you should be doing, and they don't see why not. And it's like, I mean, maybe I could do it in a good way and use it, use myself for other people, but it doesn't feel like I'm doing that. It feels like I'm just returning to just trying to get caught up in it again,
I totally get that. And that's really why I made the comment earlier, like when you're in a place like that, you should recognize, I recognize that, okay, my faith is my passion, but at the same time, the other thing that can happen is you should be excited about waiting for what God has next for you in terms of what he's going to place in your life and in your mind and in that passion tank. What's he going to put there that's going to be the conduit for your ministry?
Yeah.
Like, what's that going to be? What's next, Lord? What's next? I'm waiting, you know?
Well, you know, you talked about how legit the Robertsons and Chad are, yet the Robertsons and Chad Robichaud, however you say
Robichaud, yeah.
are both, you know, I would say they both talk about their faith more than anything else, more than their passion, more than duck hunting or fighting, whatever all Chad's passions are, jiu-jitsu. So I think if I could ask them one question, it would be, how does that not ever become an idol?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would want to know that. Like, I would want to know
question.
Jace Robertson's response to how he has not made duck hunting an idol. Because I don't know how the crap he's done.
Man.
Yeah, I bet he would say that at times it might.
At times it has
was.
been. Yeah. Maybe Chad would say the same thing.
Humanly possible to want and enjoy doing something.
Yeah, that would be my one question.
Yeah. Well, Chad will tell you that fighting was his idol.
Well, yeah.
He will tell you that he made a decision to retire.
Yeah.
He actually was on the schedule to fight the number one guy in the world. Was going to be his next fight, right? And he felt the Lord, or knew the Lord was calling him to start Mighty Oaks, which is his foundation that he uses to help veterans now. So he literally forced himself to retire because he realized that if he took this next fight, that fighting was going to have to remain and even be more so his idol than it had ever even been in the past. And so he actually made the conscious decision to retire from fighting because of that. Yeah, because that was revealed to him that, like, hey man, no, you're going to be used for this, you know. But at the same time, he still enjoys fighting. He still enjoys jiu-jitsu, and that's still a part of his life, right? So, all right, I got to hit the head real quick. Jeez.
It's actually a record for him. He never made it that long without having to go to the bathroom.
Without peeing?
Yeah.
You think so?
That's got to be.
What do you think about that discussion? I mean, do you think – I feel like I've talked about this a million times, and you've said some things, and you've even talked about how you got to the point where you were – is the biggest time you fell into the trap that I've fell in when you were policing?
Or alcohol.
Yeah,
alcohol and drugs can be a passion too.
The whole time, and I wasn't trying to change the subject. Yeah. When Chad was talking about being excited to wait on something, a problem that I have is because I was able for so long to manufacture adversity for myself, whether I was doing it on purpose or not. If I don't have some type of adversary, then I make decisions not to go to the doctor and deal with a shoulder injury for 5 or 6 months.
Really?
And
because it just gives you something to
I'm assuming that's where that come from.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's actually pushing the Lord further away, and I know that's what it's doing, but man, it sneaks up on me so fast, and I can deal with whatever it is. Like Chad said a couple of weeks ago, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, and he was half joking and half being serious.
Like usual.
When me and you was over there power cleaning, like he thought we should be doing like 100 pounds more. And I don't know if you heard him, but he said, you've got to make the choice to be the strongest person in the room. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I am. Like, for the totality of my circumstances, am stronger than any one of y'all if y'all was dealing with what I'm dealing with. Mm-hmm. And you're stronger than any one of us if we was dealing with what you was dealing with. So my mind don't work that way. Like, I got a bunch of stuff I done piled up on myself that nobody else ain't going to deal with. They'll just say, no, I'm going to the doctor. Well, I've done piled it all up. So then my passion will pop up, and then I'll get myself fixed.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
I'm I think
looking at me like I
well,
got a
I'm curious.
pentagram painted on my face.
I'm just curious. Like you said, you think you do it so you have, and I think Chad has claimed this before too, that he needs something to like strive against. Like if he doesn't have something to battle against, but I think a lot of like typical like new age therapists would be like, oh, you have a self-sabotaging personality, but I think it's the same thing. Like why is it a pride thing? Like is that like a thing of like, oh, I have all this hard stuff going on and I can still complete like what?
But it really ain't even hard stuff.
A shoulder injury pain is awful. Chronic pain
What
is
I'm saying, like for years and years of manufacturing your own not really misery, but stuff you had to deal with. Getting up every morning hungover. You knew you was going to have to fight till 11 o'clock to even stay at work. You know what I mean? And then you was going to throw everything you had to do, like every day, having some type of adversary that you manufactured yourself. And then that's gone. You quit drinking, you're sober, and you have nothing to fight against. So then you come up with these crazy whims, you know, that you... I mean, it could be anything. I'm not going to fix my truck. I'm going to deal with having to jump start it every day because I don't have nothing. Or it's my ribs are broken. I'm going to keep doing CrossFit because I can. You know what I mean? That's the crazy whacked out stuff I do long enough till turkey season pops back up. And then I'm good to go with some type of passion. You get what I mean? Yeah. Or I find a love for riding my bike until I can't ride it no more. And then I'll fight until turkey season comes back up. It's really weird. Like I don't really even think about passions or anything. I know I'm still dealing with that, creating these manufacturing adversity. I didn't even really think about that until 2 days ago when I listened to the podcast when Chad said, you know what the main thing is I learned this year? And I was thinking, well, what did I learn? And I was like, well, dude, you're literally creating bull crap for yourself to deal with. Like, I could go get my shoulder fixed. I could have not broke my ribs. I knew that crap was going to hurt when I did it. Like, I literally knew it was going to, and I just did it.
You talking about when you did the burpees?
Yeah, and broke my ribs.
You mean to tell me that when you did that, you intentionally just flopped down on your ribs?
Yeah, I was trying to beat Blake.
Jeez.
And then, and like I said, some of it sounds really quirky and goofy, but it's like, it's regular. And it has been since I quit drinking. It's regular. If it wasn't something like that, right after I quit, it would be like if somebody popped off to me, like that was my fight right then. Like that had to be the big freaking deal. You know what I mean? Like we're going to fight. Like here is my fight. I ain't had a fight in a week or two with something. So you want to act silly? I'm going to show you who the strongest person around here is.
Well, you put off a lot of maintenance on a lot of things. Yeah. Really, a lot of the problems come up because you put off maintenance so long until they become a problem that you just can't deal with anymore.
Because he's just waiting on it. He's frothing at the mouth, waiting for them.
Yeah, oil changes, MRIs. It don't matter what it is.
Wait, so
Brooke's like, what is up with
No,
this?
no,
she does keep looking at you like you got
I'm
a
thinking. I think I get it. Now that you explained it.
tattoo on your forehead.
It's very, I think, relatable to how I thrive in chaos, right? So, like Brooke was saying this earlier this year when she was having all of her struggles that she was going through, how well I did, because there was chaos in my life, like everything was out of whack, and that's when I am the best that I will ever be, is in chaos, right?
Yeah. What's different about
the difference between me and Cornbread is I don't try to create that chaos. Just when there's not chaos, I get depressed and poopy pants and just kind of boo-hoo around, you know?
Yeah, but it's not intentionally thinking to myself, I'm going to cause this.
Well, it's subconscious.
He didn't throw himself on the ground and say, "I'm about to break my ribs. Watch this." No, he didn't.
No, honestly, no. I don't think to myself, I'm going to make myself suffer and not deal with this shoulder issue. I don't say that. Like, I know I can get through it. That's the problem. The issue is I know I can deal with it no matter what it is. That's the issue. The issue is I knew I could possibly break my ribs and I would be okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay with the adversity. And if it presents itself, I will gladly take it.
I guess not that I don't know that there's a problem with that, but like I don't know how to articulate it. What is the problem with doing that?
I know.
I mean, I'm not saying I don't know that there is one. I don't even know how to word it.
What is the problem with doing it?
Yeah.
I think I'm not receiving something that I should be receiving about being sober.
Hmm.
That just got deep. Like real deep.
Yeah.
What do you think? Yeah, you.
Bill.
Like you don't fully understand what when you're not sober. There's something you're missing.
I think the lifestyle that I had while I was doing it, and it was constant adversity. Dude, I get bored.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like I remember Chad telling the story of you asking, like, well, what do I do? And he had to tell you, like, this is what life is. Like, there's not always something. It's sometimes in life there's nothing.
Yeah. I was going to say that, like, that what I said earlier about the self-sabotage. Like, I spent time in, like, NA and AA, and I've been in multiple treatment centers, and that's a really common theme with people is, like, and the reason I was so intrigued with what you were saying earlier is I was kind of reflecting on my own journey and being like, oh, that's interesting. Like, I wonder if I do that too. I wonder if I sometimes, like, will allow things to get way bigger than they should or not take care of things when they should because it gives me, I don't know, irrelevant. It is a big hole in your life. And there is, like, I do remember that first year being sober, being like, well, this is it? Like, what do we do? You know, like what? But what I was going to say when Chili was like, well, what's wrong with that? Like, in my mind, what's wrong with it is that if you're not taking care of yourself, like if you take too long on this shoulder and it ends up being a long-term issue, you're not like, who knows who you would meet to go out and do the hurricane. I think it just holds you back from like the impact you can make on yourself and other people and your family.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree with that.
But I am curious. Like I'm very curious about what you're feeling and thinking right now.
Have you ever just sat in it?
In what?
Like the not having something to do, like nothing there.
Oh, it'll drive me nuts. Remember when we was talking a few weeks back, and you was like, "Man, don't do them orders Friday," and I was like, "No, I'm gonna do them." And you're like, "No, don't do them." I was like, and we did that 5 or 6 times. And I was like, "Dude, if I don't do those orders, if I don't have something to do, I'm gonna go crazy." And I think maybe Chili took it wrong, and he called me. He's like, "What do you mean you're gonna go crazy?" And I thought he meant it like maybe I was upset with him, and I was like, "Dude, I have to have something to do. Like I have to. Like if I don't, then I'm gonna go freaking nuts."
Yeah.
You know, and then like I said, then stuff comes up that I cause some type of adversity, not thinking, you know.
Just like in your mind, you're just like antsy, like I've got to do something. I can't just sit here. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that's how it happens. That's how, like, I mean, I don't know, just a various plethora of situations could come up that is no different than anyone else's life. But if the chance for adversity is there, that's what I choose because I know that I can get through it. It gives me something to do. Mm-hmm. Like it literally gives me something to do. Yeah. Like I know we was joking about the hurricane and doing it. I would go freaking do it.
I believe you would.
Yeah.
You know, the crazy thing is with that too, Cornbread, is the reality is there are endless options of things, healthy things that we can create for ourselves to do, but we don't do it, right? We sit there, we get, like you said, we get antsy, we get depressed, we get frustrated that there's nothing to do.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's actually an endless opportunity.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have a day where there's no orders, or you have a day where it's slow or whatever, it's like, I do the same thing. I have a day when it's slow, and you end up wasting the whole day sitting at home scrolling Instagram or something silly.
Yeah.
You know what? It's like we're so afraid or hesitant to go and do something meaningful that's outside the boundaries of, what we've been asked to do, what we're supposed to do, or what we have to do.
Yeah.
But it's like, I mean, it's endless. It could be literally as simple as going and walking down Broad Street and having conversations with people. And most of the opportunities that do exist are in the lane of serving people, or obviously in the business that we're in, there's endless opportunities for all of us to improve our space, to improve 307 Project. But it's like, I do the same thing, dude. Like, how many days do I waste when I could be working on something that would further the mission here, or that would serve people out there?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, dude, the thousands of hours that I have do you know how many books I could have written? You know how much crap is in my head? You know how many experiences I've had? Like, the thousands of hours that I have wasted thinking exactly what you're thinking. There's nothing for me to do today. I could have wrote a freaking volume of books.
Yeah.
I could have had hundreds of thousands of meaningful conversations with people and made them feel special, made them feel important. I could have freaking wrote a letter to somebody for goodness sake. Like, it's just endless. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What about this conversation screams to me like what's been loud in my life the last couple of weeks is like, yes, we could find really other important things that aren't in our narrow space of what we think is productive, or we could also, me or Brooke could learn to rest better. And like, Brooke really sucks at resting.
Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah.
Like, I think a lot of us suck at resting, and I don't, like, I'm responsible for my own behavior, but I feel like the people I'm surrounded by and my coworkers and the things I consume on the internet and don't advocate for healthy rest. Like, it's not a positive thing.
Yeah.
And Jeff Holloway at the gym called me like a couple of months ago and was like, hey, there's this mindset coach I'm using. I really like him. I think he could help you. And Jeff and I are wired very similar. And so I'm trying this guy out. And this week, one of my goals was to learn to rest well, because I got a cold last week and I canceled everything for 2 days. And I had this overwhelming sense of peace and rest because I got sick and I had to. And I told Chad, I was like, oh, I think I should do this more often, just naturally. But I can't let myself off the hook if I don't have a reason why I can't do all the things I feel like I should do. And that can be work, that can be 307 stuff, that can be stuff around the house, that can be going and spending time with people I love. Oh, I have a free day here. I haven't seen my mom in 2 weeks. Oh, I have a free day here. I haven't caught up with this friend. Like, I need to fill the space with something to feel valuable. And so this mindset coach kind of was like pinging me with these questions of like, well, why? Why do you always have to be productive? Why do you always have to be busy? Why do you always have to have something to do? And like, for me, it's tied to worthiness and like I have wired my brain for years and years to not know what to do with space and time and idleness. You know, like I can picture this scene of myself with like a hot coffee and my Bible and like curled up on the couch with like some space, and I walk past the laundry room and I'm like, I'm not doing that laundry today. And I have 18 things I need to get done before Friday for work, and it's Tuesday, but I'm like, I'm just going to not touch those until Friday. Like I can picture that, but in that moment, I haven't practiced how to let all those thoughts go. And for me, those thoughts pop up and they're really urgent and they're really loud. Like for you, I'm sure your orders are the same way. Like if I have things to get done around the house or for work, they just keep coming in my mind, you know, and just saying, I'm going to take 2 hours. I'm going to take a full day. How about take a Sabbath?
Yeah.
Why don't like we pick one day a week where we just choose not to do anything? But I found through this mindset coach that I want that to come naturally, and that's something I'm going to have to practice. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But that was
I think mainly for me, I will have plenty to do, and then I still choose unknowingly that extra adversity on top of it, and then it ends up taking something away, and then that's when the boredom sets in, because I then let that take something else. Me and Chili come up with an awesome bike training plan, and I was 4 or 5 weeks into it when I hurt my shoulder, and then I got sick because of the unknown infection in it, and then now the bike training's gone. Tried to ride, just can't ride it. You know what I mean? I chose that adversity to put on top of everything that I was doing. I don't know why I done it. Like I didn't do that out of boredom, because I had plenty to do. Like I had plenty to do. You know?
I mean, it's wild that, you know, the Bible tells us all these things, and a lot of times we won't listen. We just have to eventually get to the point that we're forced. Even Chad's blood clot, like he lost some of the passions that he wanted, the things that he wanted to do. And I'm not saying God sent that, but he did use it, right? I mean,
right, absolutely.
And so, just like you said, the Sabbath, like God tells us we should take a day and rest and do nothing. And rest. That doesn't mean like don't work, go hunt. That doesn't mean don't do the things you know you need to do and go spend time with people. Like I think it means do nothing. Like I think it's fine to have family over and hang out and things like that, but you can begin to pile those things on, and there's still things to do, but they feel good. Like there's a difference in doing orders and going turkey hunting and eating dinner with your family on Sunday, or go, you know, I mean, they're both still occupying your mind and time, but you think about them differently. And I need to do that. My mind's constantly running with things. And so I think we can all benefit. Well, I know we can all benefit from doing that more, but I would challenge you just to next time, just sit in, even if it's like 2 hours, like you got to start somewhere, but like, hey, I'm going to be bored, and I'm just going to be bored for 2 hours and pray. Read your, turn to God for strength in those times. And if it's 30 minutes, if it's an hour or two, and build, because it's valuable. Like that's what God tells us to do. And if we can't do it, then that's a problem. And I'm talking to myself here. But yeah, I mean, you got to build up your ability to do, and we just, all those things are just distractions from what we know we need to do. The dang phone, man. I mean, it's unreal.
Yeah.
You can look up the time you spend on these things. Unreal. Yeah. And and you sit there and you say, I'm bored. And what do? You say, well, let me look at a few reels on here. You sit on the toilet. Let me look at a few reels. Sometimes you're driving down the road. You know, it's like, good night. Sometimes you just got to. I told Chad, he said, how you like driving that Dodge? I said, I'll be honest, I don't like it because it don't have a radio in it, because I love to listen to the radio. But it's been nice to not have a radio, to just not have some noise in your mind, like something.
You ain't getting that truck from me.
Yeah,
sorry,
I got
Bubba.
the keys, bub. But it's nice that, you know, you're sometimes just forced to not have something distracting your mind. And Sometimes we just need to sit in it.
But when you initially chose, you got in the Dodge. It was quiet. You were like, oh, I want to listen to the radio. And then you were like, oh, that's probably good for me. And you made a decision, and it wasn't like an immediate turnover that like, oh, this feels good. It was like something you had to like make an effort towards, right? Yeah. Like, good talk, bub.
You summarized that well.
You nailed nailed that.
Hey, you're on to something. Biscuit's on to something.
Platitude.
Well, guys, this podcast is titled something about the drones, right?
No.
It is.
Yes, it is. Army of drones or something. Is there anything
Welcome back to
KZ307,
KZ307, the positive news channel.
Positive news channel.
The positive news channel. We're starting off with a local uplifting story from Twiggs County.
Well,
Twiggs County.
To stick with
to local news correspondent Cornbread.
To stick with Chad's duck hunting theme,
Positive story
of his past week. Here in Georgia, while patrolling Twiggs County, Georgia DNR game warden Wes Freeman encountered a group of duck hunters on a private pond who was 28 ducks over the limit.
That's not good.
28 over the limit.
In Georgia?
Don't
In
say there ain't
Twiggs
good duck
County.
hunting in Georgia. Go to Twiggs County.
And
I know we had 28 ducks in Georgia.
citations were issued, and the ducks were donated to a local veteran support group. Look at them green heads right there.
You know, I like to say that's what they get. Killing that many.
How did they kill that many ducks in Twiggs County, Georgia?
Evidently, there was a secret cold front what went through and pushed them down there to Twiggs County.
Can you
That's insane, dude.
Where did you receive this piece of information?
It's from the Georgia DNR Law Enforcement's Facebook page.
Of course it is.
Did they lock them boys up or just fine them?
You just gave them citations. Yeah,
What, do you know how much the fine was?
I ain't got a clue.
That's good journalism.
Do a better job next time you present a story, all right? I need more details than that.
Chill out. The major part of the story was 28 ducks over the limit.
What's the limit?
You have different limits for different ducks. I think like the
6.
total limit in Georgia is 6, but like I think you can only have like 3 mallards a person, 3 wood ducks. You know, it's got like weird combinations of numbers.
So they killed the whole clump.
They killed the whole. Didn't none of them get out, son?
Ducks are federal, right?
Yeah, you have to have a federal duck stamp and everything
And all they got's a fine?
from the Georgia DNR.
And the crazy thing about trying to break game laws when you're duck hunting too is you can't hide when you're duck hunting. You're making so much noise. I mean, if you're killing that many ducks, like the game warden could be sitting a mile away, 2 miles away, and he's going to hear you like, dang, there's an awful lot of blasting going on at that little pond down there. Let me ride over here and check. It's like, you ain't going to hide it, buddy. You making some racket.
Back to you, Chili.
Well, in national news and other aerial fowl news, the bald eagle has officially become the national bird of the United States.
Foul?
Well,
Well, the bald eagle's always been the bird.
no,
of the
sir.
United States.
No, sir. Not officially. That's what everybody's thought since 1782, but incorrect. A bipartisan bill that would officially recognize the bald eagle, one of America's most iconic animals, as the national bird, will head to the desk of President Joe Biden for signature after the House passed legislation for the first time on Monday. Contrary to popular belief, the American bald eagle is not the national bird of the United States.
What was?
Nothing.
Yeah, so it wasn't official. Okay.
That's big news.
That is big news.
I mean,
I like a new ocean.
Did you guys see where President-elect Donald Trump has vowed to make an effort to do away with daylight savings time?
Thank the Lord.
hope so.
Did you guys see that?
I did.
I haven't seen it. I think didn't W try to do that?
Yeah, we've talked about that for the last 50 years, and nobody's ever done it.
Apparently,
and he ain't going to either.
He said that there's like a group of people in the who makes daylight savings time anyways. Who's the freaking in charge of that?
Benjamin Franklin.
But like
Idiot.
in the government right now, like who is the one enforcing? Has anybody ever thought of this? Who is the one enforcing daylight savings time?
Yeah,
Like,
the government, the Congress. Like
so that's in the Congress and
I mean, that's what they have to
and
do.
Senate?
Congress is going to have to vote to pass legislation that ends it.
That's so stupid.
so or everyone could
Or every
just,
state. I mean, Arizona doesn't do it.
Yeah, well, everyone could just say no. Screw you. We're not changing our clocks.
Well, here's the
We can do that
problem.
with anything.
Here's the
Yeah.
problem. Our phones switch
oh, that's a good point.
automatically.
That's a good point.
Well, you don't have to set them like that. You can set them to manual time.
Like, I want to know how it does it so accurately. I mean, what grid knows that we count our clocks back? Like, that ain't a natural phenomenon, but somehow everything, like all things connected to the interwebs, knows when to do that. That's so beyond my head. How does it do that perfectly every time? At like 2:13 in the morning on Sunday, November 3rd. Like, how does it do that?
Programs, guy.
AI.
But then but it doesn't do it to Arizona people. Arizona phones don't do it. Like,
Yeah.
well, it's
Goes off
weird, man.
GPS.
It's weird. Goes off GPS, just like time zones. We made these imaginary lines of time zones, and your phone, when you get right to it, it will switch. How does it know that? The line's not real. I mean, we decided where the line is. I live right close to the central time zone in Chattanooga, Tennessee, so I could be in central like that. Y'all too. Down here in Rome, Georgia, it's close too. You can be in central that fast, and it knows exactly when you cross this imaginary line. How?
GPS.
Okay, GPS. What does it know you're crossing? There's a sensor in the dang ground that says here's where the central time starts.
Yeah.
We just created where it starts.
It's natural.
Don't act like you understand that. That's
I get it. It's not that
Invisible line created by a satellite, Chili. It's an invisible
I get how I know
grid.
when I'm in Georgia because there's a big sign that says "Welcome to the Peach State," but I don't know how.
There's a big satellite.
I know how.
it's
I understand
shiny.
on enough level how GPS works. Where's the time zone? It goes like this. I mean, where? Anyway,
Well, apparently Trump said that there's a whole clump of folks in Congress that are vehemently against doing away with they're against doing away. They want to keep daylight savings time.
But why?
I don't know. Why,
Trump's probably just saying that because he wants it to seem like he's about to put up some crazy fight.
He's
Everybody's
trendy.
probably like, "Now we don't care," but he
trendy.
wants to make it a big deal.
Down in Trump.
Create adversity.
yeah.
Didn't they say they originally created daylight savings time like for farmers or something?
There's a lot of myths about it. Just wake up earlier.
Oh, it's so stupid, man. Yeah, I hope.
I mean,
Trump-
really, well, like, if that is the official reason of why they say they created it, that makes no sense. Moving the clock back an hour, moving it back 5 hours, don't change how much daylight's in the day. If it was,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, it
The
does.
da-
It saves daylight.
the days get shorter just naturally as you approach the winter solstice. So farmers are losing their light regardless of when you put 5 o'clock.
No, the government has changed how long the sun's up.
So we get an extra hour
Yeah.
of
the
sun.
sun's not even real. The sun's just a hologram in the sky.
Well, don't get into that. I'll start talking about the earth being. It's,
the government
The
can
Abraham
manipulate the sun.
Corn seen the guy hanging the moon one night.
oh, that's the goofiest thing I've ever heard. But no, the space as it's taught. No.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
But anyway, in other positive news, we'll move on to sport. This is KZ307, the Positive News Network. In sports news, Levon Saganashvili, a 400-pound Georgian arm wrestler, the number one ranked in the world, beat Jerry Caderet, the American, 4-0 over the this past weekend, and it was a very exciting arm wrestling match. I was very into it, but
Was that televised?
it was not. pay-per-view.
Really? Pay-per-view?
Yeah.
Huh.
That's what he spends his money on. Arm wrestling.
How much
pay-per-views.
is arm wrestling pay-per-view?
I didn't buy it. I watched
you
it post.
After
Yeah, I put it on YouTube. After.
4-0, he beat the brakes off of him.
Yeah, dude, that Levon Sagadashvili has not lost as a pro. He's not lost a round as a pro. Jerry Caderet, he said he was going to put that flop wrist press on him. And it didn't work.
So is no one going to talk about these drones?
No.
The whole thing.
Patreon question.
Whole podcast is titled about the drones.
Whoa.
I told
Easy.
you to watch that deer.
Well, I'm not talking about that crap. This is the Positive News Network.
You'll talk about it, won't you?
Whatever.
A drone?
Yeah, them drones.
I don't know much about them, bub.
I know why those drones were flying around. I already know. I had the inside information.
Obviously, Biscuit wants to talk about the drones.
No,
so.
I'm
no,
not-
you go ahead, boo.
I'm not talking about the drones.
We'll save it for the end of the show.
I
know.
Signing off.
Oh no,
I
this is
know
part
why
of the
the
news.
drones
No, it is
came.
not.
This segment's for
KZ307 Positive News Network is out.
No. I'm contributing to the news.
No, you're
now.
just doing your own thing.
I mean, Corn.
That's
Can I
perfectly
contribute to the news?
I'm going to give her a woman
Is it because I'm a woman?
Perish.
This is
And,
Trump's
and for
America.
all y'all female fans out here,
Yeah. 36
Was that a
days
more-
away from Trump's
Was
America.
that a higher pitched boop?
yep.
Oh, okay.
36 days away from Trump's America. If you're looking for Brooke
You
on the
know-
podcast
you know
past
how-
January 20th, you will not
You
see
gotta
it.
talk. You gotta talk. You gotta talk like Betty Boop while you're doing it.
Hey,
No.
you know everybody knows how Trump treated Stormy.
Well, look,
He used her up and threw her away.
my
$7 worth.
news
Yeah.
story fits perfectly with the vibe you guys are all portraying right now. This sexist put Brooke in a midget chair and make her share a mic and do weird stuff. Yeah, freaking call me a nun. So in other
Hunter,
news,
do you like women? they're less than, aren't they?
He didn't comment on that.
Don't ruin his reputation with your bull crap. Okay, so in Germany, I sent this to you both on Instagram yesterday, and you probably didn't watch it.
Oh, I see it all.
Close to Bavaria, there is a
Oh, I seen that.
a
yeah.
ritual that is being highly disputed and argued about in Germany. So I guess, did it say there used to be whalers, Corn?
Yeah.
So these men, like long centuries tradition, the men would be out whaling for months. When they returned, they believed that they needed to dominate or re-show their women who was boss. So this tradition was born in Germany on December 5th. The men dress up in garb and like these, they wear like all this feather stuff and these sheep's faces and dress up, and they run around the town and chase down all the women and beat them in the butt with a cow horn. And everybody celebrates every time a woman is caught and then she's being beaten.
This
So
is not a part of the news.
this is part of the news.
No, it is not. This is
This
Brooke's
is a-
own segment. I don't
this
know
is
what
a-
we want to call it. This is not a part of the
Highly
this is not-
disputed.
This is not a part of the PAN, the Positive News Network.
So the question is, it's been outlawed for a while, and just this year they got to do it again. And I'm like, it was right after Trump,
Yeah, but
God.
you know why they got to do it again?
because the women
The
protested.
women protested, wanted it back. They knew they had to be whooped back in the show. They was getting out of control. They was like, dang, our houses are a mess. All the dishes are dirty. Like, who is going to save us? And they was like, well, you remember when them guys used to whoop us with them cow horns? I kept, my house was on point back then. And she was like, well, I guess we need to get our butt whooped again.
Yeah, that's the end of my news.
That is. I mean, that's the way it works, man. I mean, look, women, women like that, man. You know,
Women like what?
look,
What do they like?
I can't get too graphic on this show, but I can only speak about this is only to husbands and wives. You know, if you've been a while, look, if you've been a while and you ain't had intimate relations with your
I'll
wife,
walk out.
Close your ears, honey.
I will walk out.
If you've been a while, look,
I'll walk out.
Your wife,
the debut of the PAN, the Positive News Network, and you're soiling it.
your wife is gonna start acting up. She's gonna start getting all cocky, and she's gonna start acting up. But then if you come in and have relations with her, she
hit her with that cow horn.
She will then start acting different. Make note of this, honey.
I gotta piss, and I might not come back.
I'm telling you, man. I've seen it happen time and time again. I've been married since 2012. Yeah.
You know when Brooke's acting up.
Time for the
She
cow
needs some
horn.
relations. Yeah.
Good night.
For
This
sure.
This is a really toxic masculinity.
You brought it up.
I know I did.
Hey, talk about them drones while Chili's gone.
No, I know why them drones was in. I had inside information on that.
They're military, aren't they? Our military.
Yeah. I'll tell you at the end of the show why they was in.
Can I tell you what's happening in a quick gist? The government is staging an alien invasion.
No, you're way
so
off.
they can start hitting us with missiles from drones and then say it's aliens and not them. But they can cause the chaos needed to thwart Trump's inauguration.
Several of them had cow horns hanging from them.
Wait, say it again.
Several of them had cow horns hanging from them.
Good night.
All right. Well, we're about to move on to our Patreon question of the week. But before we do that, we want to let you know this episode is brought to you by our partners at Barbell Apparel. All right. We've been partners with Barbell for, a couple years now, I reckon, right?
Yeah.
And we've been using Barbell Apparel in many different aspects and activities that we participate in life, from our fitness endeavors. Chili has got, what's that shirt you got on there, Chili? Oh, that's one of the
Havoc.
That's the
This
Havoc.
is a Havoc.
But that
co-branded
one's
with macadamic.
yeah. That was Blake. You got the ultralight tech tee on, the be hard when it gets hard.
And I got the Adapt shorts on, and
Yeah, I do too.
Corn has the Phantom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've used in our fitness endeavors. I ran the Cocodona 250 wearing the ultralight joggers, which was what I wore at CrossFit this morning. They looked really good with my vest, I thought.
Yeah.
Really nice pair right there. So the ultralight joggers. But they also have jeans. And right now, they're giving away, a free hoodie,
yeah.
Chili?
I think it runs all the way through December, so even up to December 31st. If you spend $99 or more, you get a free hoodie with your order.
Outstanding, man.
That's a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
Their hoodies are nice.
Yeah, that's a dang good deal, man. So Barbell Apparel, check them out at barbellapparel.com. They also have jeans and collared shirts and pretty much any type of apparel for any activity that you're doing. Their covert pants are awesome for out on the range. We've used those extensively. If you've watched any of our range videos, that's usually what we're wearing. They have new flannels out, so they're constantly innovating and coming up with new stuff. They're awesome people, make great products. They stand behind their products. They have a great warranty, and you won't be disappointed. Check them out at barbellapparel.com. Thanks, Barbell, for making this show possible. All right, Patreon. What we got from Patreon this week, man? I saw a bunch of questions coming over from Patreon just in the last couple days.
Yeah, they gave us a bunch. So this one here's from Nick Gerber. He says, I got a few business questions I was wondering if you could answer. Do you utilize a content calendar to help organize your media use? Has it been helpful? Number 2 is, I was looking at trademarking. It seems like another way for Uncle Sam to make money. Did you guys do any trademarking? Do you have a plan to? Do you use a content calendar, and has it been useful?
He's talking about to monitor the time that you spend on social media.
I don't know what a content calendar is.
He's saying like we post on Instagram on Monday, Thursday at this time. We release
that
a
ain't what he's
YouTube
saying.
video. Is that right?
That was my assumption. That
Did you not
say,
say?
hey,
But he added context clues with his next sentence that said to monitor your use. Did he not?
no.
Oh,
No, he
just
said,
hear that?
has it been useful?
Well, you can answer both of those pretty simply.
So I don't use anything to
no.
track my social media use, and as far as a content calendar, like scheduling, like certain. The only thing that we do as far as on YouTube is we always put a video out on Saturday, but any other video we put out on YouTube is random. Other than Wednesday podcast, Saturday video, and anything else in between is just going to be pretty random. And then the other question,
I was looking at trademarking, and it seems like another way for Uncle Sam to take my money. Did you guys do any trademarking? Do you plan to?
well, it is another way.
no.
For the government to take your money, but I mean, it's not. It's not like it's not useful. But it is another way for them to take money.
I think when you get to a certain I think the trademark thing when you get to a certain size, and I think it's especially applicable if you have a product, like it wouldn't make a lot of sense for Barbell to trademark or for First Form to trademark, right? Because if let's say First Form didn't have a trademark, well then somebody else might start making a protein bottle and put the First Form branding on their protein, or if Barbell didn't trademark, somebody else would make a T-shirt and put the Barbell logo on the T-shirt, and then the customer would just that screws them over, right? So from a product standpoint, I think it's pretty important so that they can have some legal avenues to stop people from doing that, and I think that does happen quite often.
Yeah.
But when your brand is who you are, right, or who your team is, and it's not necessarily like some specific product that you're producing that only you produce, some proprietary thing, right, or design or whatever, then I've never seen any reason to trademark, right? And yeah, I'm sure it is another way for the government to make money. And I know people have told me for years, people are obsessed with this trademarking and copywriting and all this stuff. I've never been too concerned with it.
There's also something, I don't know all about it, but like a first, because you created it first, you have the right to it. So even if you don't have that, you have some sort of protection. If you can prove that, hey, we've been using this logo since 2020 and we've been using it for 5 years. Here, this person, like if you took it to court or something.
Right.
Look, there's really there's really not a whole lot that you can do to me that's going to be important enough for me to take you to court about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just I'm just not going to waste my freaking time, man.
Unless you're the government.
Yeah, unless you're the government. Yeah, I'm just not going to waste my freaking time, man. Like, I don't have time for that. I'm gonna do what I do, So it depends on the type of business you have, man. Is my opinion on that, and I'm by no means an expert, but we just have always just done what we do and roll with it, son. So, anybody else got anything before we wrap it up?
Well, Hunter's been taking pictures of our super chat, so I'll read those.
Oh, I started doing that halfway through because I realized that you probably weren't doing it.
Oh, can I?
Hunter's rocking and rolling.
Okay, good. Well, I only got a few of them, so.
I'm just going to, anytime I'm on here, I'm going to remind people that our trail race at Sloppy Floyd State Park is March 22nd. And registration is open, but that race is limited because of the state park. So I would not wait until the last minute.
Don't
look here.
The Mountain Mama one in November, don't put it in the middle of the November again. That just caused a bunch of trouble.
Thank you,
Why?
Chili.
I think it turned out great.
Oh, but the havoc that it caused, having to listen to Cornbread over and over. Yeah.
I told Cornbread he didn't have to come.
Put it. Well, why wouldn't I come?
Because you could have gone hunting.
I wanted to come.
Well, the world doesn't revolve around you, Cornbread.
Or you.
It kind of revolves around the rut, though.
It revolved around. Look, that race went there because of y'all's schedule.
You're getting hostile for no reason.
I don't mean it's got to go there again.
He politely asked, "Could you not do it in the middle of November?"
Tell them where to find the new race so they can go register, boo.
I'll just sign up.
And you could have said no or yes. But you chose to attack one of your dearest friends, and I'm not going to stand here and put up with it because I'll take that adversity. I
bet you will.
Then he'll slap you with a cow horn.
I will try to not make the Mountain Mama Farms race this year during the rut. I'll try my best. He don't have nothing handled. I'll do what I want.
Speaking engagement then.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
In the middle of the rut? Well, that's no good.
Well, then y'all are traveling anyway.
Yeah, but
We want to be there.
But if you have a speaking engagement, why aren't you mad at Blake for that?
Well, that has
'cause we can
that has a
hunt
little less
before we
control.
leave for that.
You
But speaking engagement,
could have hunted the day
but
before the race.
speaking engagement has a little less control.
Whatever.
I mean, you can put that dang race on a Thursday if you want.
Anybody who has listened to this show long enough knows that I'm not going to get anywhere with y'all. Y'all are going to freaking gang up on me and either
You know what that's
one,
a sign of?
choose to
That
ignore
you're
me.
wrong.
Choose to ignore me. Do you remember that? Do you remember that podcast like 5 podcasts ago where all of y'all silently decided to not respond to anything I said?
Hold on, we're supposed to be doing super chats right
get the
now.
phone
Why
back.
are you going
Do
off
y'all
on a freaking
remember that?
rant?
I don't think I've ever done that.
Yes, you have.
You
did it.
I don't think
You
I
did it.
I don't think I did.
You are not authorized to go off on some rant.
I'm authorized to do
podcast.
whatever the crap I want.
Yeah. Whoop you with a cow horn when you get home.
Night. Look at this first super chat. Brett Childers coming in at $99.99.
Good night.
He said, "I love y'all like a fat person loves Bojangles."
Do you know Brett was the original guy who said you should start using Nuff Said as your
you owe
closing
him.
statement?
Yeah, he's told me that.
Surprised
before.
he's not trying to charge me loyalties for that. He's royalties. Instead, he's dropping $99 super chats on the video,
Brett's
man.
awesome.
That guy. He's a good guy.
Yeah, if you need some building done,
That guy.
call Brett, man. If you're in the local area, you need something built, call my
Twigs
man
County.
Brett.
We had Marty Bingham come in at $9.99.
Remember him?
He said, "I'm about halfway through Chad and Chili's online running course. I highly recommend it."
Marty's doing the online running course?
What he said.
Good. Maybe he'll perform a little better at the next trail race.
The heck, man.
That's outstanding, yeah. So that's another thing we got is a running course on
Thank
the
you,
website.
Marty.
Is that near where the in the same area the
It's
new
under
Ruck
digital
course?
downloads, yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Marty.
He came back in at $4.99 as
I knew it.
usual. When I finish the training, I fully expect to be the fastest man in the world. And then he come back in at $9.99. He said, "If I'm not the fastest man in the world at the end of training, I might need a refund. Chad's recent explanation on refunds was ambiguous. Can I get some clarification,
He
please?"
might be the fastest 85-year-old.
Yeah, Marty's
Maybe.
old as crap, man. Good night. He is old.
Thank you, Marty.
Read that one.
Marty's
Now,
bad
if it's goofy,
old.
I ain't gonna read it.
Just read it now.
Hugh Janus. I ain't scared.
Came in at $4.99. My preacher mentioned Robert E. Lee Sunday morning, and I immediately thought about cornbread, saying it every time y'all open up Super Chat. God bless.
Thank you, Hugh Janus.
Thank you, Hugh Janus.
Oh man.
We had Sooner Guy 44 come in at $3.07. Get in me some going out of business T-shirts.
You better get them while you can because old Bull ain't putting up with that sale for
Because
very
we're about to
long.
be out of business soon.
One Tack Tundra come in at $1.99. He said, look up patents for Hal Pudolph and Salvatore Pius.
What?
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
Hugh came back in at $1.99.
Mr. Janus?
He said, rub some hoist on them jiu-jitsu bruises, Bubba.
There you go.
I like that.
Patrick Rowe, 99 cents with an emoji.
Thank you, Patrick.
Chris Jolly, $25.
Dang.
Just a little something to remind CB I still want that hat.
There you go. See.
We had Robert
Thank you,
Lee
Chris.
come in
Robert E. Lee!
at $20.
Oh my God.
He said, this past month you have stated repeatedly that your life feels satisfied. At this top, you laid your happiness at God's feet by pulling another resurrected 130 this week. You bowed deep to God at your top. Who carries you?
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah. Thank you, Robert.
Justin Milford. He's
10
back.
man.
Tinman.
Man's back.
$10 for his 20th super chat. He said 30 days clean today. This old boy gets yet another chance. I'm happy, joyous, and free today. Love y'all, and God bless.
Good.
Love you too, Justin.
Man.
We had Garrett Fab come in at $99.99.
Is that a new Garrett?
Good.
That's
Nice.
Daniel Garrett.
Yeah.
Wow.
He said, "What's
That's
up,
big.
fellas and Brooke? It's Daniel Garrett. I'm looking for a little mindset advice. Life is good. Business is good. I'm working out like I should. Things are just kind of dull and having to fight off procrastination in this stage of life. Thanks for the input."
Well, we talked a little bit about that on
He
the
actually
show.
came in with another super chat later and said Corn pretty much answered his question.
Oh, did he?
Nice.
Yeah.
I knew I would.
But that is a weird spot to be in.
Yeah.
Odd.
Robert Lee came in at $10. He said, "Your identity is in Christ. You are His. Life is what we do. Your real, genuine, down-to-earth Bible discussions will continue to rattle the world and also the battles we cannot see."
Thank you, Robert.
We had Tara Rowland come in at $50.
Bad bomb.
Wow.
Merry Christmas to each of you and your families. Love y'all.
Thank you, Tara.
Thank you.
Garrett Fab came in at $9.99. Big thanks to CB for the conversation about adversity. I related to that big time. That pretty much answered my question from earlier. Love y'all.
Thank you,
I
Garrett.
knew it did.
Thank you, Daniel.
Robert Lee came in at $20. Cornelius Esquire III, a legendary man, a humble servant of Christ, a man who deeply loves his brothers, one who stands firm on his own 2 feet, a bold and direct man. The God of heaven leans in and gives you his ear.
Thank you, Robert.
The God of Israel.
NL780 came in at $2. How do you catch a unique rabbit? You sneak up on it.
Read that again.
How do you catch a unique rabbit? You sneak up on it.
I didn't think that was funny.
Well, okay then.
It sneaked up on you.
I didn't think that was
That
funny
was
at
good,
all.
Well,
bub.
if it wasn't
gotta
funny
be
to
better than
Chad,
that.
it wasn't funny.
He's a funny guy.
He is a funny guy. He's the funniest guy I know.
A lot funnier than Brooke. TJ McLaughlin coming at $9.99. When can we get a 307 branded cow horn so I can chase my wife around the house?
Let's see about making that happen, buddy.
Thank you, TJ.
That's our last super chat.
Thank you, TJ.
Outstanding. Well, guys, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you and hope you got something out of this conversation. Lord willing. Well, actually, next Wednesday is Christmas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next Wednesday's Christmas. So we'll have
That thing
a
done neeked up on us, didn't it?
yeah. Well, we'll have a special recorded Christmas episode for y'all to come out. Or are we just gonna do the podcast on Monday?
Could just do it on Monday.
Just gonna do a live on Monday?
I don't know who's going to edit that thing for Wednesday.
Me neither. That's what I was sitting there thinking.
Well, dang, I forgot.
Why don't you just do it live on Monday and tell them now?
This is why we need to hire Hunter. All right.
Well.
This is why Hunter's well on his way. This is the second week he showed up. I'm so.
And he
He's
came
done a great job.
He came to help edit them videos.
I know,
too.
and I heard he did a good job.
Yeah, he did.
I heard he did a good job on the editing. So
Job, Hunter.
you know, I'm really excited about this, man. I hope that Hunter can or is enjoying kind of this thing here because I mean I got a whole table full of guys here, and I want to pre-record a special Christmas episode, but nobody wants to freaking edit it. So I guess we'll just do a live on Monday then.
Could it not be a special one?
So,
A special live-in.
dude, come on.
A special live-in.
Yeah,
Everybody, they ain't none of them
come
heads going to
on,
be working
dude.
Monday anyhow.
That's true.
People need stuff to watch on Christmas Day,
They'll
man.
watch it Monday.
Hopefully
They ain't gonna
not.
Be working.
Well,
Just
me
spend
and you,
time with your
me
dang
and you are
family.
supposed to do a part 2 of ours. Why don't we do? Why don't we do that?
Well, you nailed that one.
I like that.
something there.
Sweetie, I like that.
I have a quick.
That way people can have something to listen to when they're driving back and
There you
forth
go.
between people's houses
I
on
have a
Christmas
question.
Day.
Now
So
that,
we may do our Monday Bible study episode on Monday, and then Brooke and I might do a
And break out the
pre-record.
cow horn
Do it.
and do y'all's thing.
We might do a pre-record.
That was
for Christmas
inappropriate
special on
AF.
Wednesday. Yeah.
Come in and do a.
Do it.
Yeah, we could do that this weekend.
Do it.
if since Hunter's kind of in like a trial period, if a good-looking woman shows up with the same qualifications as Hunter, are you gonna kick him to the curb?
You did say
No.
you'd do that.
No,
Yeah.
no. Hunter's a good-looking dude. Look at him.
But you did say that. But you did say that if
He's a good-looking dude, man. I mean, I would not be ashamed to
Hunter's
take
like,
him with
I'm
me. You know?
leaving.
Look, if
To do what?
to take him with me to places, you know, like this weekend.
Run, Hunter.
Look,
Run.
If I would look, man, if Hunter was trained up, like if he was trained up at this point, he would have went with me this weekend, and I would have had him there, and we would have made some cool freaking videos for people, right? I mean,
This could all be taken the wrong way.
When if Hunter sticks with this and he gets trained up and he likes this stuff, like me and this joker about to do some traveling, son. We're going all over. And we're going to be creating cool videos and stuff. You know, I can't do that with him because he just ticks me off everywhere I take him. But Hunter's a good looking dude. You know, he ain't ugly. I can take him around people.
Well, you couldn't take a woman with you.
No, you're right. You're right. I couldn't take a woman with me. Yeah. So no, he's the perfect fit, man. Look at his hair. Look, it's got this. Look at that flip. All right. So we'll see y'all Monday live. Love you guys. Enough said.
Robert Lee.